Hi, my name's Thomas. I am head of animation at Digital Myths. Today we're going to be looking at some of the animations we've made for some of our clients. In specific, we're going to be looking at our Flash animation for Duffy's Circus, and also we're going to be looking at our stop motion animation for Kids First. Before we check out our animations, we're going to have a brief overlook of what the difference is between Flash and stop motion. Flash is computer generated content. We're using a computer software to aid our animation creation. The software provides many helpful tools that simplify and enhance the creation of animation. Flash content is usually less time consuming, but requires a higher level of skill. Stop motion is almost the opposite, is a lot more time consuming to create relatively similar animations compared to Flash, but the skill entry level is quite low because at its heart, stop motion animation is really just creating a model or an image and manipulating that image and documenting or taking a photo of each frame. To complete your stop motion animation, you would typically put this into a software that will merge all the images together into one video file that is played back, like the typical frames in, say, a movie. Let's jump into this next section here. So now I'm actually going to show you two animations we made for our clients. First, I'm going to show you our Duffy Circus animation. It's made in Flash. It's roughly 25 seconds long, and it's for our website. So from looking at this animation, we can see there's a lot of assets in it initially. We've got the background, we've got the duck at the start, we've got the plane, we have the ringmaster, we have the cat, we have another duck, we have two bears, and we also have a tightrope walker. So as you can see, there are a lot of assets in our animation initially, and this is what I was talking about earlier with that higher entry skill level, because for Flash to really stand out, you want to have a lot of elements in there. You want your sound, you want your backgrounds, you want your GIFs, using tweening and stuff like that. That gives the animation its quality. When talking about tools used in this animation, we're talking about the tweening tool. It allows us to move assets across the screen, zoom and pan, stuff like that. Now, as useful as this is, there is limitations to it. Sometimes it might not be as smooth as you want, or it might not take the path that you want. Usually with tweens, it will take a direct path, and if you want to have your object take a curved path, you'll have to manually put that in. So what I mean by that is putting different tweens along the way in a sort of parabolic curve. Now we're going to take a look at our second animation, which is our stop motion. This animation was made for Kids First. Our client wanted something for kids years 8 to 12, and so I produced a film about the effects of pollution. I discussed with the client, and we think that it's both a topic that kids that age should learn about and the consequences of their actions. So you can see the style of this animation here that we just saw is completely different to our Flash animation. Unlike our Flash animation, we didn't have loads of assets on the screen. We had a continuous video. I added contextual title cards to give background information to the story. The stop motion only appears in 3 parts. We have the auction house brawl, we have the running scene, and we have the flashback scene. Now each scene has been separately made by first creating the scene, taking a photo, moving one aspect of it. This can be, a Lego man's arm. This can be 2 minifigures running forward, or it could be someone falling over. This process is repeated until we have a sizable amount of frames to create a smooth video. Now, due to time restraints, I had to aim for around 12 frames per second for this animation. So it's not the smoothest, but it still gives us enough frames per second to have that perceived motion. One problem with stop motion, I would say, is although it's quite easy to make, to do some of the more complicated things in stop motion. For example, in one of my scenes, I have a leaf blowing. It's kind of hard to make because you need to suspend the object, and although it sounds quite simple, it's hard to keep it in a straight kind of motion when it's actually moving across the screen. Other than that, it was actually quite simple to make. The real technical part is just inputting all of your images into a software, and this will then spit us back out a video. And then what I did with that video is I spliced it up into those 3 sections, I added those contextual title cards, and I added some music and some appropriate sound effects. Wrapping this up into a conclusion, I would have to say with Flash animation, things I was happy with were that it turned out as I expected, and according to the storyboard, I had all the things that the client required, and I think I had a good choice of music. The things I wasn't so happy about was that I think if I spent more time finding better assets, I could have made a more fluid animation, and I could have touched up my storyboard a bit more detail in it. Stop motion, once again, I did enjoy that. Making it was fun, and I think it turned out well, and especially according to the storyboard. I think it provides a good message as well. It's informative. The things I don't like about it so much is that, like again, I was saying with the limited time, the frames per second is quite low. I would have liked that to be higher, maybe around 24 to 30 frames per second. I would have liked more stop motion elements in it. I think if again I had more time, I would have made more scenes in stop motion rather than relying on those title cards to tell the story. Overall, in both animations, I think I did quite well, and I think I do fulfill the client's needs. And in both cases, I do follow the storyboard. With the negatives overall, I would say that if I had more time, I would have fleshed out the animations, made sure I had good assets, and maybe fleshed out the storyboard a bit more. That's all of this video. Thank you for watching.